those of you who don't know, my name is Leslie Zork. I'm a current member of the board of Gideon's Promise, and this is my partner in crime, Gary Coleman, former chair and a founding member of Gideon's board as well. We're here in our living room, the fire going in the fireplace, wishing that we could welcome each and every one of you at our front door, as we have every year for the last 12 years, and invite you in and embrace you before you grab a drink and head to the kitchen to help yourself to a bowl of gumbo. But here we are, all making do, and we are just happy that you are here virtually to continue unbroken this annual tradition of celebrating and supporting Gideon's Promise and the incredible work that John and Illy do. To that end, we're packing a lot of celebration and a lot of support into tonight's program. I'm going to give you a quick run of the show, but before I do, I want to give a major shout out and thanks to Chris Pearson, Advancement Director, and Brandon Lawler, Advancement Coordinator at Gideon's Promise, for their hand-holding, as well as their creative, logistic, and technical help and support in putting all this together and bringing this virtual party to life. In a few minutes, Gary will talk about the importance of all of you in making Gideon's Promise the success it is today. Tonight, for the first time ever, we have an auction that you can bid on during the program. We have 3 separate packages featuring fabulous wines and bourbons that were generously donated to us by Chuck Waldman, the proprietor of Cordial Craft Wine down at the District Wharf. You will hear more about these items from Chuck in a minute, and there's a link to the auction at the bottom of your screen in the chat room so that you can conveniently continue bidding on the items during the program. The bidding will stop at 7:30 and the winners will be announced at the end of the program. So remember that 100% of the proceeds will go to Gideon's, so bid often and, more importantly, bid high. During tonight's program, Nicholas Zork will perform a musical number for you live from New York City. Nick is a fabulous singer, songwriter, Grammy-nominated music producer and collaborator, and Doctor of Divinity in Music, who also happens to be an amazing human being and my nephew. And now, it wouldn't be a promise party without hearing from one of Gideon's lawyers about their inspiring work on the front lines. Tonight, we will hear from Brandon Ball, Associate Defender at the Harris County Public Defender Office in Houston, Texas. Brandon was a member of Gideon's Promise class of 2013. And of course, we also have a fundraising goal for tonight of $25,000. And we have already raised $14,000, so we should easily be able to reach and hopefully surpass our goal. Again, there's a link in the chat room at the bottom of your screen where you can donate during the program, or you can go to gideonspromise.org/donate. And we will also find out how close we are to our goal at the end of the program. Now, finally, to get you in the mood, at this time, we're going to see a video compilation of photos from holiday promise parties in the past. Many thanks to Amani Davis for her extraordinary support of Gideon's Promise, as well as her extraordinary photographing, chronicling this party over the years, which made putting this video together possible. With all that said, welcome and cheers. And let's get this party started.
Watching all those photos of the parties that we've had in the past is very wistful, thinking about what we've lost during this pandemic by not being able to be together. But all that being said, I'm hoping and counting on the fact that you're out there someplace and that you're listening to this. Welcome into our house virtually. As Leslie told you, the last 10, 12 years, every year we've had a party and we've welcomed you into our home, and we're doing the same thing. I'm here to stress to you the importance of the commitment and support that you have given over the years, and we're asking you to give again during this holiday period, and of course in the future. And let me do it by talking about walking you through a little bit of history. Over the years at Gideon's, marching as Gideon's has in lockstep with the present day civil rights movement, we have had such speakers as Mary Edelman Wright from the Children's Defense Fund. We've had Vernon Jordan before he became a sidekick of Clinton's. He was an important kick-ass civil rights lawyer. We've had John Conyers, who was a giant in Detroit in the civil rights movement. We've had Charles Green, who was part of the Little Rock Nine that integrated the schools in 1957 in Little Rock. And we've had the icon of icons in terms of the civil rights. We've had at one of our gatherings, John Lewis, somebody I'll talk about before. Each and every one of those people have embraced, these civil rights icons have embraced what Gideon's has done. We've even had in our living room, and many of you were there, we've had one of the lawyers that actually helped put together the legal case for Gideon's versus Wainwright over 50 years ago, and regaled us with the backstory of how the Gideon's petition, that was actually written by a convicted murderer who happened to be a judge, and helped Gideon actually write the petition that went to the Supreme Court that led to the right to counsel, and hence the name Gideon that we've now adopted. We've had all those people here supporting Gideon's. And many of you have been in events in which these icons have spoken, and you've rubbed shoulders with them, these amazing people that have done so much for the civil rights movement. And if you haven't actually rubbed shoulders and been at one of those events, you've been in our living room and crowded around in our living room and listened to some of the extraordinary people that John has trained, John and Illy have trained, have gone down in the South and done this amazing work. You've rubbed shoulders with them and us. And you've of course rubbed shoulders with John and Illy, people that you love and support. You are, in other words, each and every one of you, just one link, one step, just that close, one degree of separation from the civil rights movement that is going on right now. And to the point, let me phrase it this way. Barack Obama looked at John Lewis and said, John, without you, there would be no President Obama. John Lewis came to one of our events, looked John and Illy in the eye and said, John and Illy, without Gideon's and organizations like Gideon's, there would be no civil rights movement today. And the board and John and Illy and my wife are telling you that without you, there would be no Gideon's Promise. That's how important each and every one of you are. And that's how close you are to what is going on in the civil rights movement today. We absolutely depend, and Gideon's always has, on your generosity and your support. These are, the last several months for all of us have been a dark period. And we're hoping, of course, that it'll come to an end fairly soon. But in that dark period, there's been one light that you can see even through that dark period, and that's Gideon's Promise. Each and every one of us, for our sakes, for the sake of our children, for the sake of our grandchildren, if we have them like me, we need to continue to support and be as generous as possible for the people that we love and the people that we admire, and that's John and Illy. So I'm asking you again, as I have every year for the last many, many years, to go deep into your wallets and deep into your purses and continue to support these two marvelous people, and by doing so, continuing to support the civil rights movement that's going on in this country right now. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Chuck Waldman, the owner of Cordial Craft Wine Beer and Spirits here at the District Wharf in Washington, D.C. I was introduced to Gideon's Promise by my brother-in-law Giles Davidson and a dear friend, Leslie Zork. By providing educational opportunities and other support to our public defenders, Gideon's Promise serves an essential function in helping us to maintain our constitutional rights of mounting an effective defense. Everyone is entitled to legal representation in a court of law. Unfortunately, as public defense budgets have been slashed, this becomes more and more of a challenge. In this day of Black Lives Matter, a pandemic, and an ongoing economic downturn, it's more essential than ever that we come together to support these essential services, such as those offered by Gideon's Promise. All proceeds from this evening's festivities go to Gideon's Promise and the ongoing fight for equal justice. I'm proud to have supported Gideon's Promise this evening with 3 packages. The first is a selection of locally produced bourbons from the Washington, D.C. area. It includes a bottle of Republic Restorative's Borough Bourbon, which is produced at a woman-owned distillery, and in fact the largest crowd-funded distillery in the United States. A bottle of 1-8 Distillery's District Made Bourbon, produced from organically grown rye. And finally, we have Bowman Brothers Small Batch Bourbon, produced in Fredericksburg, Virginia, at the oldest existing distillery in Virginia. Along with these bourbons, you will receive 2 Spiegelau Rocks glasses and a set of whiskey stones. Simply place these in a freezer, chill them down, and use them instead of ice to chill your bourbon. That way your bourbon isn't diluted. The second package is a selection of wines that I have personally selected. They include Heights Napa Cabernet 2015, which received 95 points from Wine Enthusiast magazine. Chateau Fournet Saint-Emilion, which is a beautiful Merlot-based wine produced in a small village in Bordeaux. It includes a Carême, a beautiful Rhone blend of Grenache and Syrah produced in the southern Rhone by Hébert et Rennes. A wonderful Bordeaux Superior from the fabulous 2010 vintage from Chateau de Cazeneuve. Their vineyards sit just outside Margaux, and I can personally attest that this wine is drinking magnificently right now. It includes Vigno Ottano Vigno Ottano Rioja Gran Reserva. The 2014 vintage is beautiful. This has been aged in oak for 2 years and in bottle for 2 years prior to release. And finally, Seriponte's Cognolo, a Super Tuscan from the heart of Italy. The final package, and one that I'm really happy to offer, is 2 bottles of Ornellaia 2017. This wine is one of the most outstanding examples of the Super Tuscans available today. Received 96 points from the Wine Advocate recently. Absolutely stunning wine. Please open your hearts, open your wallets, bid up these items, support Gideon's Promise and their work. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you here at Cordial at the Wharf. Thank you very much.
A joy to be here with you. It's always a joy to sing music and to experience the way that sounds can resonate in our bodies, even at a distance. The same sound that resonates in mine resonates in yours, reminding us of our connection as human beings. It is even more of an honor and joy to sing music when what we're celebrating is unquestionably essential to the pursuit of a just society where all people can thrive and experience full integration into community and justice. Just thinking about how much around the holidays, I wish that I were in my aunt and uncle's living room, for example, celebrating. I thought I'd share really 1.5 songs with you tonight. And this first one is one that I wrote a while ago when my partner, my wife, was in residency in Los Angeles, and we could not be with family for the holidays. And so this was sort of our sonic holiday card that we sent out to them to tell them how much we missed them. And hopefully this can, I don't think you need to be reminded how much you miss those that you're not with, but maybe this can be a reminder that one day we can be together with those we love. This song's called Christmas is Overrated. Christmas is overrated. I thought it would have more cheer. I set out the milk and cookies, but I guess this is not my year. Christmas is overrated. My list was just one thing long. I know I'm not always nice, but I didn't do that much wrong. I didn't do that much wrong. We're going to see a movie, that's something fun to do. We'll get to wear 3D glasses, but they're overrated too. I really like all my presents, those thoughtful gifts from the store. But if Santa still checks his Facebook, he knows what I wanted more. He knows what I wanted more. Christmas is overrated. It's not like it used to be. All that I really want is for you to be here with me. Christmas is overrated. Any ordinary day with you is better than any Christmas when you're so far away. When you're so far away. I want to sing one more song. It's kind of about growing up and how much, I will say one thing about 2020, it's been a rough year. I think, thankfully, I think at least for a lot of us, it has moved quickly, even though at times it didn't seem to be moving at all. But often the best times move quickly, and it's just a reminder to enjoy them while we can. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be part of this. I know that I'll be doing, along with some great friends, collaborators, a living room concert for someone. I think that's an auction item, so I'm excited about that too. And thank you for the essential and inspiring work, John and Millie, that you do with Gideon's Promise and all those that work with you. It's an inspiration to just be part of this and be here. This is called Watching the Setting Sun. I can hear the summer breeze blowing through New England trees, swinging out over the park and splashing in the water. There is hardly time to eat, but there's always room for something sweet. And it seems the day's just begun and we're watching the setting sun, watching the setting sun. The setting sun. Many years have slipped away since those carefree summer days. Times have changed, but we're the same. We are just a little older. We still dance and feast, we laugh and cry, celebrate and say goodbye. And it seems the day's just begun, and we're watching the setting sun, watching the setting sun. 100 times this season comes around, and 100 times we try to slow it down. But we are blessed, these moments feel like they don't last, because only good days seem to move so fast. I still hear the summer breeze blowing through New England trees, as younger ones are swinging now and splashing in the water. We can't see beyond the night, so we'll say a prayer for morning light, but we'll know that we've already won as we're watching the setting sun, watching the setting sun. We are watching the setting sun. Thank you for listening. And now it is my honor and joy to introduce to you the founder and president of Gideon's Promise, and a man who needs no introduction, especially in this community, Jonathan Rapping.
So, Nick, thank you for that beautiful music. It's 7 o'clock, a little before 7, to see Leslie and Gary sitting in their living room, and I started to get nostalgic. And then I started to watch all the pictures from the years past, and I got even more nostalgic. And I have to say, I didn't expect to feel this void, because this is the first holiday season in a long time that we haven't been with all of you. And you all mean so much to us because you've helped us build Gideon's Promise, but more than that, you've been friends and really family for a long time. So although we can't gather live this year, it means the world to us that we can gather virtually. I was looking through the attendee list and seeing all the names and just really feeling overjoyed to be with y'all, even if just virtually. These last months have been so tough. They've been tough for all of us, but really they've been tougher for people living on the margins than anywhere else. And as you all know as well as anyone, for people living on the margins, every problem that they deal with in life is addressed through our criminal legal system. And so for people living on the margins, really no one can be more important than public defenders and the lawyers who are there in that space where they are uniquely qualified to meet them at the time of greatest need for so many of them. And Ellie and I have been fielding so many emails over the last several months from public defenders who are struggling, but they're also encouraged and they're uplifted. And what uplifts them is the community that you all have helped us build. And I want to share one email that literally just came in 2 nights ago from a public defender named Teresa. Teresa is actually not with a public defender office. She takes court-appointed cases in a small rural county in Texas. It's a partnership we just launched this year to work with court-appointed lawyers in places where there are not public defender offices all across Texas. And Teresa sent this email because she said that she was representing a man who was facing 20 years on a probation revocation. And she said she didn't have anything to work with. All she had was his story. And she talked about how she was a member of the Gideon's Promise class of 2019. And she talked about how this summer she learned storytelling skills and she learned the importance of making sure that judges and other people in the system see the human beings that they're conditioned not to see. And she talked about how she went into this hearing and she knew this judge, and this judge routinely gives 20 years in these kinds of cases. The best she'd ever seen was 15. And she talked to her client, and she talked to his family, and she talked to his friends, and she wove together a story, and she told the story of how he ended up here. And the judge ended up giving him 12 years. And she sent this email to say, once again, I would like to tell a story of a huge victory in court. Those haven't happened for me, just the small victories. I wanted to let you folks know that the storytelling tools and other tools you and the Summer Institute folks taught were the only tools I had last week, and they worked. The only place where I really disagree with Teresa is when she calls that a small victory, because saving someone 8 years of their life, forcing judges to see them as human beings, those are huge victories. And when you multiply that by the number of people Teresa does that for and the number of Teresas that have gone through this program, you realize the impact that you all have had. Now, how is Teresa connected to all of you and all of us? We wouldn't be working with Teresa. Teresa wouldn't be a part of Gideon's Promise. This young man wouldn't have saved 8 years if it weren't for Gideon's Promise. Roughly a decade ago, as we were just having our first holiday party in Gary and Leslie's living room, Harris County, Houston, was opening a public defender office for the first time. And under their contract, they represented less than 10% of the people in the system. And one of the first things that the new head of that office did was he reached out to Illy and I, and he said, I really want to work with you, but not to train my people. I've been able to attract really talented folks who have come from great federal defender offices, but I want to figure out, how do we train court-appointed lawyers who handle the bulk of the cases in Houston? And we launched a pilot. And after 3 years, we were able to get 30 young lawyers through that pilot. This year, we launched the pilot for the first time all across Texas, and Teresa was a member of that class. But that all started, that first year of training court-appointed lawyers was 2013. And one of those lawyers was a man I'm going to introduce you to now, Brandon Ball. Brandon came to us as a court-appointed lawyer. He had no community. He didn't have skills, didn't have even necessarily the inspiration or community to do this. And he became a star. And after several years, Alex hired him at the Harris County Public Defender's Office, where he is now. And Brandon's going to share with you some words about what this community means to him. Some of you, if you listen to our podcast, have met Brandon because he was a recent guest on one of our podcasts. And this week, we're going to drop a podcast with 3 of our alumni who are running offices in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Detroit, Michigan, Nashville, Tennessee. Those are offices that are doing things the way we've done them at PDS, because of you, because of your friendship, because of your support, because of this community. You all are helping countless people, and we can't thank you enough. Great to be with you, and I look forward to seeing you live next year.
My name is Brandon Ball. I'm a public defender at the Harris County Public Defender's Office in Houston, Texas. Class of 2013, Gideon's Promise graduate. Shout out to 2013. I see y'all. I really don't, but y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. But really, I'm thankful for the opportunity to speak about Gideon's Promise. Every day I'm grateful for the opportunity that I had to come to Gideon's Promise back in 2013 and spend those 2 weeks learning about client-centered representation. Yes, we learned about a lot of other things. All those things are valuable, and I'm grateful for those things as well. But the number one thing I left Gideon's Promise with the understanding of is that our clients matter. It's something I thought I knew. It's something that I respected, and I didn't take clients for granted or anything like that. But I left Gideon's Promise with the understanding that not only am I fighting for my client, I'm fighting for my client's family. I'm fighting against the system I'm fighting against all those people who said my client and people who look like my client and my client's family don't matter, because they do. They do matter. And I am so thankful that Gideon's Promise just instilled that into me. Another thing Gideon's Promise instilled into me is this idea, and we all hear about rap speak about this a lot, that public defenders need to be at the table, right? We need to be at the table and at the forefront of all the conversations regarding criminal justice reform that exists and going on. There's a lot of change that happened in 2020, a lot of movements occurring, right? And I'm always looking for where public defenders can fit into that movement. And the reality is we have to be the change we want, right? So sometimes I find myself looking, I have to change that mentality to, okay, what can you do to be there, right? What can you do? You have to create that situation. It's not gonna come to you. You have to explain to people why it is so important that we need to sit at the table. And then actually, when the opportunity becomes available, sit at the table. So I'm just so thankful. My class, 2013, was the best class. No hate on nobody else. No hate on nobody else. It's just facts. Certain things are facts. It's just facts. Facts are facts are facts. And I know that if I needed something for any one of them, I could reach out to them. But the reality is, that's the truth for every class, right? Every class has that bond. And that's something special. That every organization doesn't have that. Every organization doesn't foster that love, that family. So I'm also grateful for that. So let me say thank you. Thank you, Gideon's Promise. Thank you for existing. Thank you for continuing to exist. You're appreciated.
Hi, everyone. It's Illy. So I am so excited. I got to see all the names. I see the judges are in the house and everybody. And I know you can't see each other, but you're there. You can totally chat with each other in the chat box. So we, as Leslie mentioned in the beginning of this program, this is our 12th year doing this party, right? We've had the great honor of having Blair Brown and Susan Jerome and Mark Rashawn and Paige Kennedy and Leslie and Gary hosting this fantastic event. And every year you guys say to Rap and I, where are the kids, right? Where are the kids? So Aaliyah's at work, so she was not able to be with you tonight, but we brought Lucas, and some of you met him when he was brand spanking new. We were in DC all of 4 months before we had to trek off to Georgia to reform the whole South, and then now with Rap's visionary ideas, the entire country. But Lucas has joined us tonight. He is 12, so for those of you who saw him and met him when he was a baby, and Truman, I know you're on the call, and Lucas got to ride in the Corvette when he was a little kid. But Lucas is here, and tonight, Lucas is going to give you the auction winners. So thank you all who have bidded tonight on the package, right? Okay, first of all, if you have not met Dan Waldman, right? That was his brother who looks like his twin, and we'll talk to Dan and Giles about that later. But I got a little confused in the beginning. But Lucas is here, and he is going to announce tonight's auction winner. So thank you all. Number one, thank you for the donation. Number two, thank you all for bidding, because everything that comes in goes directly to Gideon's Promise and the lawyers that we serve. And so tonight, Lucas is going to announce tonight's auction winners, and then I have the distinct pleasure of closing us all out. We ready, Lucas?
Yeah.
You sure about that? Okay, so I'm going to help him out. Okay, so tonight we're going to start with the 2 bottles of Ornelia wine, the 2017, and the winner for tonight's basket, tonight's Ornelia wine is
Giles Davidson.
Oh, congratulations! Giles Davidson has won the basket of the 2 bottles of wine. The 2 bottles of wine, that's what he's won. Now for
the wine basket.
Lucas, who's won the wine basket?
The wine basket winner is, drum roll please, Leslie Zork.
Hey! Leslie and her own party won the wine basket. All right, and then the last basket, which I knew some folks were bidding and there was a bidding war going on, Lucas. This was the final basket. It is the
Bourbon basket.
Lucas,
Ooh.
tell us who won the bourbon basket.
Drum roll please, Ronald Sullivan.
Ronald Sullivan!
My classmate.
Okay, I'm seeing something going on here, a theme. But congratulations, Ronald Sullivan has won the bourbon basket. And just to reiterate, we have the 2 bottles of Cornelia wine, Giles Davison, the wine basket, Leslie Zork, and the bourbon basket, Ronald Sullivan, who we dearly and lovingly call Sully. Congratulations to our auction winners, and thank you so much for doing so.
Way to go, Lucas.
Thank you, Lucas. You want to say anything to anybody? Everybody?
No.
Okay. So we want to thank you so much. As you all know, this has been a labor of love over the last, we are now rolling into our 14th year at Gideon's Promise, and we could not have done this without you. And I say this with all sincerity and from the bottom of my heart. I thank you. In this midst of racial justice, in this midst of this COVID-19 pandemic, like Brandon said before, our public defenders, some of them are still forced to go to court in this. Some of our public defenders feel a sense of guilt because they can't go and see their clients in jail. And they have been working tirelessly, nonstop to do this work. And I give a lot of credit, not just to my internal team and the staff, but also our dozens and dozens of faculty members who have been picking up the call and answering the phone. And we could not have done this without our original crew, the ride or die crew. And you all know I'm a little bit hood, the ride or die crew of the DMV area. And we appreciate everything you do. And we're so happy that Leslie and Gary will be able to host this event virtually. So I want to say tonight, you're going to be very excited to hear we had a goal of $25,000 to raise tonight. We have exceeded our goal and brought in $31,000 at tonight's event. So thank you. A round of applause. Thank you. And your support is going to help the incoming class. We have to combine classes next year because we couldn't bring them together. The classes of 2020 and the class of 2021. So I thank you all and I love you all and I cannot wait to see you live and in person and love on you next year.